Welcome to part 3 of my theme titled 30 billion US dollars repatriation money available for Jamaica to claim. Funding to build 30,000 affordable housing units each year, employing 300,000 Jamaicans in permanent full-time jobs, and earning an extra 10 billion US dollars each year for Jamaica's GDP. Some key features of the 30 billion US dollars repatriation funding program are 120 hotels to be built across Jamaica, especially near areas with high unemployment rates, earning an extra 10 billion US dollars each year for Jamaica, providing 300,000 permanent full-time jobs for low-skilled citizens in rural parishes across Jamaica. Franchises for the 120 large all-inclusive hotels will be given to foreign direct investment over the next 1 to 5 years, from 2025 to 2029. Each hotel costing approximately 250 million US dollars to build, totaling 30 billion US dollars. All paid for by the foreign direct investments repatriation money coming back to Jamaica. I want to make a disclaimer. First, let me state clearly that my observations and comments about the state of the Jamaican economy and the suffering of the Jamaican people are not meant to belittle Jamaica or the Jamaican people in any way, shape, or form. I am a Jamaican who was born and bred in Jamaica, married and had our first child in Jamaica, then started pastoring in Jamaica before I migrated to the UK. Having lived in the UK for the past 3 decades, traveling back to Jamaica and the USA, also visiting some of the EU countries quite often over the past decade or so, I can see how other countries are operating. Then I started thinking to myself, why couldn't Jamaica do this or do that? Hence, my posts are meant to be about constructive criticism, not to dishonor Jamaica, the land of my birth. The fact that Andrew Holness has already made several announcements in line with my suggestions, sometimes weeks or sometimes just a few months after I cry shame on the Jamaican politicians, shows that my YouTube channel is helping to develop Jamaica. One of the sticking problems in Jamaica is that a couple on minimum wage cannot buy or build a house in Jamaica. The government needs to start building 30,000 affordable housing units every year. That would be 300,000 houses over the next 10 years. This is a key factor in getting every Jamaican citizen on board, so as to have sustainable growth in Jamaica over the next 30 years and beyond, is to develop our housing sector. This is what will get our young disengaged adults into work and keep them in work on a long-term basis. They will have something to work towards where they can settle down with their partners and raise a family, while building wealth through home ownership at the same time. There are hundreds of thousands of young adults who have left secondary school in Jamaica, without any qualifications, some of which can barely read or write. Most had bad experiences and shame at school, and they don't want to be told to go back to school to get a trade or qualifications. Almost all the young people in Jamaica would jump at the opportunity to get a permanent full-time job within the first year after they leave school. However, because they do not have qualifications, they cannot get a permanent full-time job. Then, within 2 to 3 years after they leave school, they give up hope and start to figure out their own way through life, which sometimes leads to the wrong outcome that further disenfranchises them. This is why Jamaica needs to quadruple its tourism industry from 4 million to 16 million visitors each year, putting Jamaica in line with other Caribbean countries such as Barbados and the Bahamas, in terms of the amount of visitors in relation to their population size. Yes, you heard that right. With Jamaica having 16 million visitors each year, our tourism industry would just be catching up with that of Barbados, but we will still be behind the Bahamas with our visitors per capita. This is how far Jamaica's tourism industry has fallen behind most of our Caribbean neighbors. Then the government can use the income from the rapidly expanded tourism industry to fund a 30,000 housing unit per year house building program. Half of the houses need to be for about 8 million to 10 million Jamaican dollars for tourism and minimum wage earners. The other half of the houses need to be for about 16 million to 20 million Jamaican dollars. These should be for teachers, nurses, and other hard-pressed public servant workers in Jamaica. Because wages are so low in Jamaica, there are rooms to increase low-wage pay and still remain competitive in terms of wages in other Caribbean countries. Hence, minimum wage needs to be doubled over the next 5 years between 2025 and 2029. raising it from $15,000 to $30,000 per week, or a minimum of 15% pay rise every year over the next 5 to 6 years. Minimum wage has more than doubled in the last 4 years, from $7,000 in 2021 to $15,000 in 2024. Hence, doubling the minimum wage over the next 5 years will be a slower rate of increase than the last 4 years. A key factor is that we need our minimum wage workers to be able to buy a house in Jamaica and raise a family. This is how we are going to overcome the ills of our slavery legacy, by giving our citizens a chance to work and earn a living, despite their level of educational attainment. This is the same very thing that the first world countries have been offering their people over the past 100 years. Many illiterate Jamaicans whose grandparents were slaves left Jamaica 60 to 70 years ago to find work abroad. They were able to walk straight into a job the same day that they landed in the UK or USA. Though they were illiterate, they were able to send for their sweethearts in Jamaica, buy a house in the UK for example, marry and raise their children. Many of those children have degrees and PhDs and have launched out into various professional fields of their choice. Some of those children and grandchildren of the Jamaican diaspora also have high-level government offices, especially in the USA and the UK. Hence, the Jamaican government needs to stop this drive about sending adults in their 30s and 40s back to school. When England called the Windrush generation from Jamaica and other Caribbean countries, in the 1950s, they did not send them back to school. They used them to rebuild England after the war. It was a win-win situation, both for the Jamaicans and for England. Jamaica can do the same thing now with its citizens who are unskilled, use them to build Jamaica, while they earn a living to take care of their children. Then the government can focus on educating those children. England was able to rebuild itself after the war, and the Windrush generation was able to marry their sweetheart and raise a family. Most of those who came to England could barely read and write. Some of these people I came to know personally, since I came to live in the UK, though most of them have passed on now. That is how Jamaica needs to build itself now, by using the tourism industry to provide an extra 300,000 permanent full-time jobs all across Jamaica. We need to decimate the day-to-day hustling culture in Jamaica, and start offering everyone permanent full-time jobs. Also doubling the minimum wage to 30,000 Jamaican dollars per week, that is $200 per week. Even then Jamaica wages would still be less than most other Caribbean countries. At $200 per week, many undocumented Jamaicans living abroad would be better off coming back home. They should be welcomed as heroes because it was their remittances that were keeping Jamaica afloat during the difficult patches that Jamaica has been through. Some of my notes are available in the description section and the comment section of this post. Feel free to take part in this discussion on how to develop Jamaica. This is part 3 of my current series. Look out for part 4. Thanks for watching this video. To support this channel, please click on the subscribe button. Share this video and leave your comments below. God bless you. God bless the Jamaican Parliament, and God bless Jamaica. Until my next video, peace.